You're all in the class now, and hopefully you can see me and you can hear me. So my name's Karen. If you haven't done my classes before, Pilates, 3/4 of an hour. Remember, I can't see you, I can't hear you, I can just see myself. So you're doing the class at your own risk. So if you have any injuries at all, just make sure that you don't do anything you think you shouldn't be doing. Stay safe. Any pain or discomfort in anything we do today, just make sure you stop. And otherwise we can get going. So let's set ourselves up. So find a really nice, good standing posture to start off with. So setting yourselves up in what we call a neutral stance. So our heels are underneath the bony parts of our hips, just lengthen the spine. Just feel like you're trying to reach the top of your head up towards the ceiling, feeling the front of your chest rise, and then just soften the bottom of your rib cage back down towards your hips, arms down by your sides. Soften your knees, soften your thighs, make sure your feet are facing forwards, lift your toes off the floor, spread your toes nice and wide, and then just gently press them back down onto the floor. Shoulders, let's bring the shoulders forwards, up by your ears, slide your shoulder blades back and down towards the base of the spine. And from there, make sure that the pelvis is in neutral, so try not to tuck under or tip up, just try and find that position in between the tipped and the tilted pelvis, so you're in that neutral position. Then to maintain that and to encourage stability and to support your back, just draw your abdominals in, so almost like you're feeling that space in between your two hip bones. Really feel it tighten as you pull in the abdominals, but only to a degree that you can maintain throughout the class. Your option is, if you're not very comfortable with drawing in the lower abdominals, just lift up your pelvic floor, pull it nice and high, and let it go just a little bit, again to a comfortable position. So from there, all we're going to do is breathe in and float the arms up towards the ceiling, and as you breathe out, just circle them wide to the side. Breathing in, take your arms wide to the side, shoulder distance overhead, and slowly let them float down. Breathing in, your lateral breathing, just breathing wide and deep into the sides and the back of the rib cage. Breathing out, your arms are going to come wide to the sides. One more last time, we're going to breathe in, we're just going to float the arms up towards the ceiling, we're going to leave them there. On your exhale, we're going to bend the knees and sweep the arms behind, we're going to push into the feet, reach the arms up towards the ceiling, and sweep down and sweep up. Keep your spine and your neck really long, a big bend in the knees, a big push into the feet, just flexing into your hips, bending at the knees, keep it really shallow if you need to. Maybe we can go a little bit deeper. Let's do a couple more of those. Push up, getting nice and warm, and then push up, reach your arms up, and again, just suck your arms wide to the side and bring them down towards the floor. From here, breathe in as you breathe. Just let your chin fall towards the chest. Round your shoulders and your upper back, just really articulating your spine, just coming forwards in that forward fold. Just go halfway down. Slide your hands down your legs if you need to. So your fingertips are reaching towards the floor. You can just let your arms hang. Breathe in as you hang. As you breathe out, pull the abdomen and use your core muscles to rebuild your spine. Spine stand nice and tall at the top. From there, breathe in and see back. Can you float both of the arms up towards the ceiling? Just lift your left foot off the floor. Bring your left knee in line with your hip. We're just standing on one leg. Relax your foot. Just let your foot hang from your ankle, challenging our balance here. Toes on the floor if you need to. And then very slowly put your foot back down as your arms come down by your sides. Let's do the other side. Lift the arms, lift the knee right up to a tabletop if you can. Knees pointing forward, toes towards the floor. Just hold your balance. So really good, important to challenge our balance. Put your foot down, arms down by your side. Breathe in as you go. Let's find that forward flexion again. So you're just tucking your chin in towards the chest. We're round to the shoulders, the upper back, the mid-back. Maybe go a little bit further. Maybe go a little bit deeper towards the floor now. Bend your knees if you need to. Pull the abdominals in. Let's slowly come back up. Keep your shoulders away from your ears. Stand nice and tall at the top. And then breathe in as you breathe. Let's go again. Lift the knee up. In line with your hip, reach your fingertips towards the ceiling, standing on one leg. And put the foot back down, arms down. Let's go the other side. Just transferring your weight really gently, trying to keep your pelvis level. Lift up And bring the foot down and the arms by your sides. Breathe in as you do that. Can we go all the way down this time? I'm just going to turn sideways. So coming all the way down, really rounding your spine. Bend the knees, hands slide down your thighs if you need to. Maybe you can just tap the floor with your fingertips. Maybe we can keep the legs fairly straight here. Get a nice stretch into the back of the legs, but as long as that doesn't compromise your back. From here, let's use our exhale. Let's pull the abdominals in. Let's roll slowly all the way up again, standing nice and tall at the top. A little bit different this time. Breathe in. As you breathe out, lift your left leg up to tabletop again. Reach your arms up towards the ceiling. As you breathe in, take your arms wide to the side and your knee wide to the side. And breathing out, arms up overhead, knee points forward. Put your foot down on the floor underneath your hip on your inhale. Exhaling, let's lift the right knee right up in line with the hip. You can pivot with your toes on the floor if you need to. And then take your knee wide to the side, arms wide to the side. Pull the knee in, arms overhead, foot comes down, arms down. Let's do one more of those each side. Lift, open up. Keep the knee nice and high if you can. Toes on the floor if you need to. Arms up, knee forwards and down. Last time, sweep the arms up, lift the foot. And then wide to the sides, overhead, arms down. And your foot goes down onto the floor. Can we take our arms to a Cossack position now? So just bend your elbows. You're resting your fingertips on opposite elbows, shoulders away from you. So your arms are just folded here. Breathe in. As you breathe out, we're going to sit back into a squat. Sit nice and deep if you can. Keep it, again, just really small. Push into your heels. Squeeze your glutes. Lengthen the legs. Stay here. On your exhale, we're going to take a spine twist to the left. So your left elbow is going towards the wall behind you. Breathing in back to center, so the upper body's rotating as one unit. Just twist from the waist. So your neck follows the line of your spine. So one spine twist each way. And then we're going to sit back in that squat again. Lighten your toes, really heavy in your heels. Press into your heels, squeeze your glutes. Stand tall. Let's twist to the left. And to center, and to the right, and to center. Sit back in your squat, speed it up a little bit. Push into your heels, stand tall. Twist to the left, to center, to the right, to center. Sit down in your squat again, and stand tall. Twist, and twist. One more last time. Your sit bones go back and down. Just hinge from the hips, bend your knees, push into the heels, straighten your legs. One more last time. Let's take our spine twist to the left and to the right. And back to center. Release your arms long overhead. And then a big circle of the arms wide and down towards the floor. Roll your shoulders. So, nice little warm up there, hopefully. Let us go to the end of the mat. So, the length of the mat is in front of you. Your feet are facing the top end of the mat. Your legs are parallel again, standing really nice and tall. Let's float the arms up towards the ceiling. Drop your shoulder blades into your back pockets. Soften into the knees. Breathe in as you breathe out. We're just going to keep the arms in line with the ears as we very gently fold over. Big bend in the knees. Bring your chest towards your thighs. Your arms fall towards the floor. We're putting the hands on the mat in front of our feet and we're walking out onto the mat. And drop your knees onto the mat directly underneath your hips. It's nice and square in your tabletop position. So think posture here. Shoulder blades back and down. Your pelvis, just as when we were standing, try not to tip it up or tuck your tail under. Really feel the length in your spine again here. Making sure you're really nice and still there in your tabletop position. So just working with your breath. Breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. Just focus on that stability. Do nothing else. Breathing laterally, wide and deep into the sides and the back of your ribcage. Then from there, maintain that pattern of breathing. Tuck your toes under. Breathe in. As you breathe out, slowly hover your knees off the floor. So we're coming into a box plank. Breathe in through your nose. Breathe out through your mouth. Nice deep breath. Just hold that tiny little hover. Nothing else should have changed here. The shape of your spine stays the same. Your neck stays long. And then on your next inhale, put your knees back down on the floor. Untuck your toes. Anybody's uncomfortable on their wrists, come onto your forearms and drop onto your elbows underneath your shoulders. Stay here if you can. Breathe in. As you breathe out, let's tuck the tail. Let's round the spine, arch your back. Tuck your chin in towards your chest. Breathing in, let's take a cow pose. Tip your sit bones up towards the ceiling. Lift your chest, look forward. So we're really extending the spine here. Lengthen your spine back out into neutral. So let's go again. Remember, you can do this on your forearms if you need to. Otherwise, hands under shoulders. Let's tuck the toes again. Breathe in. As you breathe it, just hobble your knees off the floor. Now, I'm going to give you an option. If you're feeling really strong today and you're up for the challenge, we're going to step the right leg back and then step the left leg back so we're in our full plank. So, of course, this is much more challenging with the legs further away, really lengthening from the top of your head to your heels. Drop your knees if you need to. If you want that sort of mid position, just coming onto your knees here, you'll be in the 3/4 plank. Otherwise, stay here just for a breath or two. Keep breathing out, that lateral breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. And then let's just release off. Untuck your toes, just wherever you are, pull your sit bones back towards your heels. Take a nice stretch there, tuck your tail under, just opening up your lower back. Really nice stretch. Then we're going to come up onto our hands and knees. So we're going to walk the hands towards the top end of the mat and then sink your hips and then your chest down onto the floor, lying all the way down. So again, I'm going to give you lots of options here. First option is to stack your hands, rest your forehead on the back of your hands. Now all of us, we're just going to open our legs a little bit wider than our hips. So just turn your heels in very slightly. So you'll just feel that little bit external rotation in the top of your legs. So your feet are pointing towards the opposite corners of the mat here. So your legs are like a V shape behind you. Shoulder blades, draw them back and down. Pull the abdominals away from the mat, and then you should feel your lower back really opening. So try and keep that openness in your lower back. So from here, breathe in. As you breathe out, we're just going to float the right leg away from the floor, keeping the leg in that same position. Lower it back down again, so the leg is still wide. Exhaling your left leg, just lift it up, squeeze your glutes, so just extending into the hip a little bit. So just alternating those leg raises, extending the hip, working into the leg and the glute, keep strong in your abdominals. So that is your first option. Your next option, keep your legs down, slide your hands from underneath your forehead and take your arms overhead a little bit wider than your shoulders. So your arms are in a V shape as well overhead. Now keep your head hovered off the floor. Breathe in. As you breathe out, as you lift your right leg, just let your left arm away from the floor so you're reaching through your fingertips and your toes. Breathing in, allow the arm and the leg back down again. Exhaling, lift the left leg and the right arm, keeping the arm and the leg on that diagonal. So you just put the arm and the leg back down in exactly the same place that they came from. And just keep going with that. Now I'm going to give you another option which is quite challenging. If you feel strong, hover both of your arms and both of your legs off the floor. Stay here. Breathe in. As you breathe out, lift your left arm and your right leg and lower them back just to that hover point. Lift your right arm and your left leg and lower them back down. So we're resisting the floor all the time. So this is quite challenging. Be very careful. Keep going. Take your arm and your leg all the way down if you need to. Not going to do too many more. Let's do one more each side. Right leg, left arm. Reach through your fingertips and your toes. Left leg, right arm. And then lower your legs all the way down onto the floor. Your legs are still wide, your heels are still turned in. Now bend your elbows and draw your elbows down until they're more or less in line with your shoulders. And have your middle fingers in line with your elbows. So you've made like a square with your arms. So you've got right angles there behind your elbows. So from there, it's like a goalpost position. From there, make sure your shoulder blades are back and down. Keep the legs on the floor this time. So we're going to add a little bit of extension into our spine. Breathe in. As you breathe out, we're just going to lift the head and the chest away from the floor without trying to press into our arms. Breathe in, coming back down again. Just bring your nose just to that hover point just above the mat. Exhaling, lengthen and lift. Feel the length in your spine. Feel the work in your back to just get that lift of the chest away from the floor. Make sure you're not pressing your abdominals into the mat. You're drawing them in. Try not to squeeze your glutes. Try and keep them nice and relaxed. So you can stay there. Otherwise, on your next exhale, we're just going to start to lift a little bit higher. So just gently pressing into your hands, just allow a little bit more of the front of the body to peel away from the mat. And now engage your glutes. If you're extending your arms fully, strong in your glutes and your core. So hips stay down, just peeling the front of the chest and the abdominal wall away from the floor. But only if you want to come that high, you might not want to. Slide your shoulder blades down towards your hips as you lengthen and lift. If you're coming up high, you're looking forwards, your chest is shining forwards. Slowly coming back down again, keeping that length in the spine. Keep it small if you need to. Keep your forearms on the floor if you want to. Let's do a couple more of those. 2 more. Exhale, lift, lengthen, strong in your glutes, strong in your core. So a really nice mobility exercise and strengthening exercise for our backs. And one more last time. Maybe we can lift a little bit higher. Keep the shoulder blades down. And very slowly release down. Keep your legs wide behind you. Put your hands underneath your shoulders. Push yourselves up onto your hands and knees, and then bring the feet together, knees stay wide, and then just pull your sit bones back towards your heels. So now you're in an extended child's pose. So really nice stretch there. Really feel that in your lower back, across your arms, your shoulders, and your chest. So from there, let's just come up. So we're coming to seated next. I'm just going to turn this way, but you can come to seated towards the bottom end of the mat, so you've got the length of the mat behind you. I'm just going to turn this way so I'm facing the camera. So how do you feel about sitting with the soles of your feet together? So you've got a sort of diamond shape in between your legs. If that's really uncomfortable for any reason, your hips, you can just take your feet flat on the floor and have your heels, your knees, and your sit bones in alignment. But if you can, that's quite a nice position for our legs, as long as the heels aren't too close towards the sit bones. So your knees just going to fall naturally away to the side without any forcing, so your soles of your feet are together. So that just allows us to open up the hips. Make sure you're sitting on your sit bones. So sit really nice and tall here. Shoulders are over your hips, chest is lifted, but again, the ribs are softened down towards the hips. Just pop your hands on the mat down by your sides. We're going to do a little bit of a mix up here. So breathe in. As you breathe out, we're going to take the left arm up and over, taking a nice side bend here, bending into your right elbow. Try not to lean forwards or backwards. Just C-curve your spine. Breathe in, bring the arm back down by your side, hand on the mat. Exhale, let's take the right arm up and over. Try not to lift your right sit bone. Keep evenly weighted in your sit bones. Now bring the arm back down by your sides. Now float the arms in front of you, so your fingertips are reaching forward, arms shoulder distance apart. Breathe in. As you breathe out, we're going to twist from the waist. We're going to take our arms with us over to the right. So your upper body's twisting as one unit back to centre. If you've gone to the left, don't worry, because I should really be a reflection of you. Go the other way, twisting. Keep, again, the weight even in your sit bones. So your neck just follows the line of your spine. Now keep your arms reaching forward. Breathe in. Just gently press the soles of the feet together. As you breathe out, can you tuck your tailbone under navel to spine, and just roll back, just rolling off your hips there. Breathe in. As you breathe out, pull the abdominals in. When your shoulders are over your hips, restack your spine, sit nice and tall. Breathe in, float your arms up towards the ceiling. As you breathe out, big circle of the arms wide to the side, hands on the floor, down by your hips. Exhale, let's take the left arm up and over. Bring it back down. So it's a side bend, and then a side twist, a spine twist, and then a roll back. So now we reach the arms forward again, shoulder distance apart. Breathe in. As you breathe out, we're going to twist from the waist round to the left. Doesn't matter which way you go, just do one each side, back to center, and twist round to the right. And back to center. Keep your arms where they are. Breathe in. As you breathe, scoot the abdominals in. Your navel's glued to your spine. Just roll off your sit bones. C-curve your spine. Don't go too far. Breathe in. Use your abdominals. Pull the abdominals in. Come back up. Shoulders over your hips. Sit really nice and tall at the top. Breathe in. Arms to ceiling. Circle your arms wide to side by your hips. Let's go again. Side bend. Left arm up and over. And breathe in, back down, and the other side, and back down. Float your arms forward, breathe in. As you breathe out, spine twist one way, keep your spine really long, back to center, spine twist the other way, back to center. On your exhale down, go rolling back, just tucking right under. Breathe in as you breathe out, coming back up, restack your spine nice and tall at the top. Breathe in, arms to ceiling, breathe out, arms circle wide by the sides. One more last time. Left arm up and over. Maybe go a little bit deeper this time, but don't lift your sit bone. Arm on the floor, other side. Really lovely side stretch. Float your arms forward. Breathe in as you breathe out, twist to the left and to the center. Watch your shoulders away from your ears to the right. To center, let's tuck under, rolling back, maybe go a little bit further this time, but if you feel you can, and then pull the abs in. Let's come back and sit nice and tall. Breathe in, arms to ceiling, and breathe out, a big circle of the arms wide to the side and down. Lengthen your legs, give your legs a good old shake there, roll your shoulders, perfect. So we're going to come down to a lying down position now. So either keep your feet and your hands on the floor to support yourself, otherwise just lift your feet off the floor, hands behind your thighs, be careful, and with control, slowly lower yourself down onto that. So your shoulder head then rest on the floor, and then we're going to put the feet back down on the mat. So this is where some of you might want to put a cushion or a folded up towel or a block behind the back of your head. You don't have to have one. I'm not using one. If you feel the back of your neck is shortening, your head's tipping back, it's always a good idea just to keep the head supported with a little bit, something a couple of inches high underneath the back of your head there. So it's slightly tucking the chin in rather than having it tipping up. So bearing that in mind, just find your neutral spine, neutral pelvis position again. So just making sure your knees, your feet, your hip bones are in that neutral alignment. Your bottom of your rib, your lower ribs, your back ribs, soften them down into the mat, but you still maintain that natural curve underneath your lumbar spine. Make sure your pelvis, again, as when we were standing, just make sure it's not tipping or tilted. Just find neutral. So your lower back's lengthened on the floor. Engage your core. So maybe a little bit of a stronger connection now, just to support the lower back to keep the pelvis nice and still. Again, I'm going to give you lots of different options here. So breathe in. As you breathe out, just lift your left foot off the floor and bring your left knee over your hips so your legs in a tabletop position. Breathe in. Slowly put the foot back down exactly where it came from. Then exhale, your right foot lifts. So the shape of the leg doesn't change. We just bring the thigh in towards us and then it goes away from us. Don't bring the knee in any closer than directly over your hip. And put it down and let's go again. So really use the abdominals, use the lower abdominals to lift and to lower your legs. Let's just do one more of those each side. So keeping it fairly low level at the moment, and then we're going to add in a little bit of challenge. So see how you go with this. Breathe in. As you breathe out, lift your left foot off the floor, your left leg's at tabletop. Breathing in, bring your right leg up to join it. Both of your legs are at tabletop. Breathing out, put your left foot down on the floor where it came from, and breathing in, put your right foot next to it. Let's start with the right leg. Right leg to tabletop, left leg comes up to join it. Your right foot goes back down, and then your left foot goes down. Left leg, right leg, left down, right down. Right leg lifts to tabletop, then your left leg comes up to join it. Slowly put your right foot back down, and then your left foot back down. So we're back in that neutral position, exactly where we started from, hopefully. Now turn your palms in to face your hips, thumbs to ceiling. Now breathe in. As you breathe out, lift your left foot off the floor and scissor your right arm towards the floor behind you. So your knee is directly over your hip, arm down by your side, foot goes down on the floor. Then as you lift your right leg to tabletop, your left arm goes back. So you can keep this really slow, otherwise we're going to go double time. So we're just going to switch as the right toe taps down, the left knee comes over the hip, and the opposite arm goes towards the floor behind you to the knee that's coming up over the hip. So opposite arm, opposite leg. So we're keeping the feet more or less off the floor all the time, so a lot more challenging. So remember, you can go back to that level one, both feet on the floor, and just lift and lower, or one leg at a time to tabletop. Really feel strong in your core here. Just gently tapping the floor with your toes, trying to maintain that rib to hip connection there again. So try not to lose that. So from here, can we take the leg away, shoot the one leg away to 45 degrees instead of tapping the floor, extend it long. So we're in our scissors now, reaching for your fingertips and your toes, taking the leg only as low down towards the floor when you stretch it away as your lower back allows. So don't let your lower back lift off the floor. You can take the leg higher if you need to. That would just take a little bit less load on your lower back. Breathing in through the nose for 2 and out through the mouth for 2. Keep switching, keep really strong. Lots of mobility in our shoulders, in our knees, in our hips. Let's just do a couple more each way. And last time. And then bring the knees in. Give them a really big hug. Take a little rock there from side to side. Just releasing off. Put your feet back down on the floor again. So let's bring some focus now onto our upper core muscles, our upper abdomens, as well as the lower and the deep core muscles now. So now we're going to do some curl-ups, so chest curls. So we're going to mobilize the upper spine, work those upper abdominal muscles, and work the core as well. So from here, let's interlace your fingers. Lift your head off the floor, cradle the back of your head in your hands and put your head back down on the mat. So your back of your head's just resting lightly in the back, in your hands. Lift your elbows up so you can just see your elbows out of the corners of your eyes. They're in your peripheral vision. And we'll maintain this distance between our elbows throughout. So it's very tempting when we curl up to pull the elbows in. Keep your elbows nice and wide. So from here, make sure you're really strong in your abdominals. Breathe in. As you breathe out, we're just going to lift the head and shoulders off the floor, keeping the pelvis in neutral. Now that is quite challenging. So if you feel that your tummy is really curling up and under, don't lift the head and shoulders so much. So we don't need to come up too high here. So maybe if you're coming up high, you can just maybe look just above the level of your knees here. Try not to come up any higher than on the tips of your shoulder blades. Exhale, scooping in, navel to spine. Breathing in, lower back down again. And then let's do a couple more like that. Lift on your exhale, lower on your inhale. Now you can stay with this if you want to, keeping the feet on the floor. That will give you stability and it's not so challenging on your lower abdomens. But if you can, let's bring one foot off the floor at a time. Bring your knees over your hips so your legs are in that tabletop position. So we're going to keep the legs still. Breathe in as you breathe out. Let's do our curl up. And breathe in, lower back down. And let's curl up and down. So I'm going to give you one more last challenge after this. So let's do 2 more like this. Anytime you need to, one at a time, put your feet back down on the floor. If you're feeling really strong today, if you've maybe been doing Pilates for a little bit longer, let's stay down. Breathe in as you breathe out. Shoot your right leg away to 45 degrees. Extend the leg. Breathe in as you breathe out. Keep the leg where it is and do your curl up. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Then bring the knee back in over your hip. Breathe in as you breathe out. Extend your left leg away. Keep it there. On your exhale, do your curl up without moving the left or the right leg. Coming back down, and then bring the left knee over your hip. And then again, shoot your right leg away. Keep it extended. Curl up, curl down. Bring the knee back over your hip. Left leg, stretch it away. Keep it there. Curl up and curl down. One more each side if you can. Keep your knees over your hips. You don't need to extend the leg away. Shoot it away if you can. Curl up, curl down. Knee in. You're really probably feeling this by now. I know I am. Shoot your left leg away. Reach for your toes. Keep the legs where they are. Curl up, curl down. Bring your knee over your hip. Take your hands from behind your head. Give your knees a really good time. Well done. Take that little rock from side to side. You'll feel that tomorrow in the morning. You'll say, oh my goodness me, what has she done to me? Really good to strengthen though. Really keeping our core muscles really strong. So good for your posture. So good for back health as well. So next, let's go the other way. Let's come into our bridge. So just some basic bridge work really. So bring your heels nice and close in towards your sit bones. Make sure if you put a cushion or anything behind your head, just make sure you take that away. So the back of your head needs to be on the mat there. So, but still making sure you've got the length in your neck. So your heels are about a hand distance away from your sit bones. And again, still starting with the neutral position for your spine and your pelvis. Arms light on the mat down by your sides. Breathe in. As we breathe out, let's tuck the tail under, flatten your lower back into engage your glutes and peel your spine away from that. So really feel the hips really open as you lift your hips. Breathe in. As you breathe out, slowly come back down. If that's not for you, coming all the way into the bridge, just do a little tip and tilt, pelvic tip and tilt at the bottom, so just the very lower part of the back. Otherwise, coming up right onto your shoulders if you can, pushing the knees forward. Make sure that they don't start to wander, so the knees are shining forwards all the time, really strong in your glutes here. And exhaling, coming back down again. Just really make sure you're mobilizing every bone of every section of your spine. Let's come up again. Squeeze your glutes. Let's lift nice and high. But try not to hyperextend. We're really aiming for a straight line from your kneecap all the way down to your shoulder here, without overlifting the hips or without flaring the rib cage. Coming back down. Let's stay up. Let's do a little bit of work in our bridge. Only if you feel strong and you know you can stay in your bridge without your hips starting to sag towards the floor. So it's quite important we keep lifted and strong. So from here, just turn your palms in to face each other, thumbs to ceiling. Breathing in, we're going to take the arms towards the floor behind you. Maybe tap the thumbs on the floor as you breathe out. A big circle of the arms wide to the side and in. Breathing in, keep squeezing your glutes, keep lifted. Let's arm circle. Option now is as you take your arms back, just peel your heels away from the floor, coming onto the balls of your feet as your arms go back. As your arms circle wide to the side and in, push your heels down on the floor. So a calf lift, a calf raise, we call it, as your arms go back. Push your heels down without letting your hips sink. Circle the arms wide to the side. Just the calf raises or just the heel lifts, just the arm circles if you want to do one or the other. Both together, only if you can. Let's do 2 more. Keep really strong. Come out of your bridge if you need to. So this is getting quite challenging now. One more last time. Arms go back. Breathe in. Lift your heels or keep them down. Press them down if you lifted them. Circle your arms down by your sides. Put the palms of your hand down on the mat. And then on your next exhale, we can very slowly release our spines back down onto the mat. And then bring your knees in towards your chest. And then just gently pull your knees in towards your chest. Release away. Pull in. And it's very gentle, just encouraging a little bit more of a stretch in your lower, but any pinching, really small stretch. And then last time. And from there, just slowly put your feet down on the floor one at a time. So from here, we're going to roll onto one side and just do a little bit of work on our side, but it's a side bend. So what I need you to do is be very mindful of your shoulders here. So we're coming up, so we're propped up on our elbows or our forearms, so our knees are bent. So we'll go through the body. So first of all, have your elbow directly underneath your shoulder, making sure if it's here, really think, a lot of strain in your shoulder joint, and if it's here, closer towards your hips, then you'll have no stability whatsoever. So really make sure your elbows directly under your shoulder. So we're really keeping safe around your shoulder joint. Your fingertips are pointing forwards, so your forearms flat on the floor. So we need to have the knees bent. So let's think about the heels, the sit bones and the shoulders being in alignment. So you can use the back of your mat as sort of a marker there. So just finding that alignment, and then just put your hand on your hip, and then really feel you're trying to lift your ribs and your waist right away from the floor. So really feel you're lengthened in your spine. So almost push your top hip towards your feet. So we're not here, we are here. Really long in your spine and in your neck. So remember, I'm looking forward, but try and have your neck in line with your spine. So really feel nice and strong here. Engage your core. So really supporting your spine, your back, and also giving you that stability as well with your abdominals pulled in. So from there, we're just going to lengthen the top arm now. So just rest your long arm on the side of your top thigh. Breathe in. As you breathe out, we're going to lift the hips straight up towards the ceiling and reach the arm up towards the ceiling at the same time. Breathing in, let your hips just slightly drop down on the floor and bring your arm back down on your leg. And then lift your hips, so going straight up towards the ceiling. They're not rolling forwards or backwards. And when you come down, just feel you're still really lengthened in your spine. You're not here, you're really lifted. Exhale, lift the hips and reach the fingertips to the ceiling. So you're pushing into your arm, your knees, and slowly come back down again. So anytime you do, it's not for you. If you've got shoulder issues, just sit up. It might not be for you. Be very mindful and come back down. Let's just do one more because it is quite challenging. Lift your hips high, reach your fingertips up towards the ceiling, drop your hips, put your hand down by your side, slide your legs in. So if you can, just have your knees folded over to the same side as you were lying down on. Otherwise, cross your legs in front of you. Just roll that bottom shoulder that you had all that weight bearing into. And then that bottom arm, take that arm up and over. Take a really lovely side bend there, stretching out your side waist. Put the hand on the floor and then just go the other side. So a nice little mermaid stretch again, both sides. And then bring the arm back down by your side. So remember, we're going on to the other side. So if you've got shoulder issues, it might not be for you. So just be very careful. Or maybe you just might not want to do so many repetitions. It's, as again, I said on the other side, it's so important where you have your elbow under your shoulder, resting your forearm on the floor. So again, our heels are round towards our sit bones, our heels and our shoulders are lined up with the back side of the mat. So hand on your hip, and again, just really lift and lengthen your spine. So trying to really pull your rib cage and inner side waist away from the floor, pushing your hips towards your heels if you feel you're not really lifted. So we're nice and balanced. We're pulling in through the abdominals or lifting up your pelvic floor. So lengthen your neck in line with your spine. So from here, just lengthen your top arm, just rest the palm of your hand on top of your hip or your thigh. When you're ready, breathe in. As you breathe out, we're just going to reach your arm up towards the ceiling as we lift the hips up towards the ceiling. And breathing in, lower your hips very lightly back down, and bring your hand back down on your hip. And lift again. Try not, when you lift, try not to roll that top hip forwards or backwards. So we're really working into our waist here. So it's a really good exercise of toning your waist. Reaching up, lift those hips nice and high. If you can, keep it really small if you need to. Let's just do two more. Pushing into your arm, pushing into your knees, lifting and lowering one more last time. So as over time, you maybe can feel you can do a few more repetitions, and then much more advanced levels of these. So maybe we can progress as time goes on. Bring your hips down and then bring your knees over to the same side as that which you were lying down on. Is that grammatically correct? I don't know. Or cross your legs. Arms on the mat, down by your side. Just roll that bottom shoulder that you had that weight bearing into. And then take that bottom arm up and over. Really lovely stretch there down your sideways. And then bring the arm back, down by your side. And then take the other arm up and over. So just that side stretch, stretching into your sideways. And bring the arm back, down by your sides. Roll your shoulders. Let's come up. We've just got some time just to do a little bit more on our hands and knees again. So just pop your hands under your shoulders again, your knees under your hips. And remember that pelvis in neutral, not tipping up, not tilting, in between. Natural curves in your spine here. Shoulder blades back and down. Onto your forearms, work the legs only if you need to. Breathe in. As you breathe out, we're going to slide the right hand and the left leg along the floor. We're just going to lift the arm up in line with the shoulder, the leg in line with your hip. Reach for your fingertips and your toes. Breathing in, hand goes back down where it came from, so does your knee. Exhaling, lengthen the left arm and the right leg, and then lift them up. And then, so we're just doing our swimming now, keeping everything else really still. Work the legs only if you need to. If you're really wobbly, just keep both of your hands on the floor. Just working the legs. Otherwise, think about coordination here, strength and mobility. Opposite arm and opposite leg. Keep going. Just keeping everything really still. Your hips stay balanced, your shoulders stay balanced. Keep going. And we're just going to do one more each side. So right arm, left leg, lengthen and lift them. And put them down. And then finishing off left arm, right leg, lengthen and lift. And put them down. We should be back in tabletop. Breathe in. As you breathe out, this time we're going to really move the spine. Roll up into your cat stretch. Tuck your chin, tuck your tail. Try not to tuck the chin too close towards the chest. Just so it's in line with your spine. Let's inhale. Let's go into our cow pose again, just like we did at the beginning. So we're just really moving the spine now. We're flexing it in our cat stretch. We're extending it in our cow pose. So really nice mobility exercise for the spine. Just nice to finish off as we began maybe, which we did a couple of these. And then finish it off in your extended cow pose. And then just lengthen your spine back into your neutral spine position. Then tuck your toes under. Gently walk your hands to your knees. Lift your knees off the floor. Walk your hands to your toes and fold over. Bring your chest toward your thighs, maybe a little bit closer to your thighs if you can, but bend your knees a lot here. Try and make sure you're fully pulled in through your core. Watch your backs here. Just relax your arms, your chest and your shoulders and your neck. Just gently shake your head. Gently nod your head. Just release off any tension in the neck. Then slowly straighten your legs only as much as you feel you can. And then when you found that length in your legs, slowly start to come back up. So you drop your sit bones down towards the floor and you restack your spine. Standing nice and tall at the top. Now we're going to breathe in and float the arms up towards the ceiling. Be careful of your backs here. Only if you feel it's okay, we're going to squeeze the glutes, look up and take a little back bend. Just a very small range of movement. So we're doing our standing extension, like our cow pose on our hands and knees. Bring the arms back overhead. Slowly allow your arms to float down by your sides. On your exhale, can we roll down again through the spine? So again, that forward flexion of your spine. Again, a big bend in the knees if you need, or just slide your hands down the front of your legs if you need support. Only coming as deep into that as you feel okay. Breathe in as you breathe out slowly. Let's come all the way up again. So we should be at least an inch taller than we were at the beginning of the class, hopefully. Let's lift the arms again, look up, and only if you feel no pinching in your lower back, let's just lift the arms, take the arms a little bit wider as you lift the chest up towards the end, just a little slight back bend there. Pull your arms up overhead. Keep your arms overhead, and then we're just going to circle the arms wide to the side and just find your fingers behind your back. Interlace your fingers, push your hands down towards the floor, lift your chest forwards and upwards, look up towards the ceiling. So really feeling the front of the chest, the front of your shoulders really open. Either stay there or just lift your hands a little bit further away from your hips towards the ceiling, not too high, just getting a little bit more of a stretch. And then look forwards, let your fingers go. Bring your arms forward so they're in front of you at shoulder height. Then interlace your fingers again. Turn your hands inside out the other way. And then press your hands towards the wall in front of you. Really straighten your arms. It's like you're trying to pull your shoulder blades apart across your back. So really nice stretch across your mid, your upper back, but never overstretch. Just so you feel a comfortable stretching. Then slowly float your arms up towards you. We're just going to soften into the elbows a little bit. Soften into your knees a little bit as well. Breathe in as you breathe out. Just take a little side bend over to the right. And come back through centre. Take a little side bend over to the left. And back to centre. Look up. Press your hands to the ceiling and straighten your legs. Just stretching, making yourselves as tall as we can be. Just looking at your fingers, trying to get your hands on the ceiling. Breathe in as you breathe out. Let your fingers go. Look forwards and very slowly with control, release your arms all the way round and down by your side. Circle your wrists, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your shoulders, shake out your legs. Wow, well done. Thank you, everybody, for joining me today. I hope you're enjoying the sunshine, which has just disappeared here, but it was here all morning. Hopefully we're going to see it again this afternoon.